Hey everybody, welcome to another Paragliding Weather Reno short video, hopefully short video on forecasting slide weather. So this is a continuance from the last video I did looking at rainbow and kind of the things that I look for personally when I'm getting ready to fly. I'm going to walk you through kind of what I do for a day at slide. So I have Windy pulled up. Windy's oftentimes where I start because I'll get like an alert or something that says slide's going to be good. This is slide here. I have HRRR pulled up because I'm within my 48-hour window, so I've got the highest resolution model that I can really have at the moment. And then I will basically start leafing through left and right between times. So you can see the times changing in the bottom left, just to see what I'm going to get for surface winds throughout the day. So as I progress into the 5 o'clock in the afternoon, strong westerlies. This is relatively normal for slide, maybe a little bit stronger than usual, but nothing too crazy. This is kind of relatively expected. So I've kind of keyed in that slide might be good. I go to Paragliding Weather Reno next and take a look and kind of get basically from the top down an overall view of what might be happening. So I'll read the just the real quick picture forecast. Memorial Day, slight chance of rain showers. So that kind of cues me up like, oh, interesting. I wonder why that's the case. So oftentimes I'll read the area forecast discussion, double checking the date and time and making sure everything is correct. And then I'll read the discussion. And in short, we have a wave passing overhead tomorrow and a ridge breaking down today. That accounts for the uptick in low pressure like behavior with that showers coming in and whatnot. The soaring forecast won't be valid for today, so that doesn't really matter. Scrolling on down, you can certainly take a look at the winds, but that doesn't really help. Taking a look at the skew T the day before can be helpful, because it gives you an idea of what the atmosphere looks like. Right now, there's a pretty significant warm up right here that you can see. However, that's not going to translate to tomorrow likely. Taking a look at the pressure and seeing where we are in relation to things, 1019 millibar at the airport is pretty standard. And then lastly, just kind of getting a hourly weather look from National Weather Service. So things like this, like I'm seeing rain this tomorrow afternoon and decent looking wind, no gusts or anything like that. There's always the links on the left-hand side, but I kind of know the links that I want already. So next I'm going to go to SkySight, which is what I like. When I pull up the map and I see a whole bunch of red like this, that's excellent. I have the star rating selected there. Star rating isn't the end-all be-all, but it's certainly going to get you in the right direction. So again, just you can see the slider moving across the top of the screen. So I'm just going to kind of leaf through here and see how it builds and dies throughout the day. And so you can see really kind of right here, SkySight's predicting a 5-star rating for kind of our flight area, if you will. Whenever I see red bordered like this, that's a pretty significant finding. It means that it's probably going to be really good, and probably have really high tops and a lot of clouds. So after that, then it starts to get a little bit more fine-tuned, because the star rating, again, is not the end-all be-all. So one thing that I like to do is the point forecast. So I'll click the point forecast and then click on slide, which is right here. And I'm going to get an idea of basically what it's going to do tomorrow. So I can see really high tops at 15,000 feet. So oxygen kind of day. And looks like some clouds in the afternoon, mid-level cloud cover that's pretty dense, and then some rain. So it looks like it's almost certainly going to OD tomorrow, probably around that 5:30 to 6:30 kind of time frame. So again, low pressure behavior, looks like a big day, a lot of convection. I also take note of the wind real quick. Looks like it could be generally breezy. I'm not too concerned yet though. I know I'm keeping an eye on those westerly winds here as well. So next, SkySight, I kind of like how SkySight's laid out. I'm just accustomed to it at this point. I oftentimes just like to click one by one through the various layers and see what we got. One of the strongest features is the thermal strength and buoyancy shear ratio. That's basically going to tell you at what point in time during the day will the thermals die off too much and the wind too strong to make any workable lift. So as I scroll forward throughout the day, I'm seeing some really strong thermal activity until we have what looks like a pretty significant cell dropping out here at about 4. And maybe some pockets down here. That's about Jobs. That's Jobs here. I'm sorry, that's KB here, and this is Jobs right in here. So looks like we have a couple of isolated cells and then kind of big OD to the south. Next, I'm going to go to the height of thermals, and I like to take a look more like the peak of the day, get an idea. So wow, 15.5. Yeah, really nice day. yeah, the lowest I'm seeing is like a 13.5 in there, so that's pretty awesome. Significant weather. This layer is really nice because it gives you an idea globally what's going on. So it's hard to see, but there is green shading in there. That is, and kind of all in here, that's indicating mid-level cumulus clouds. You can see this is all OD. Anything that the clouds are basically darkened out, can't really see the sun. That's going to be OD stuff. So we're going to want to stay kind of to this side. And then if we go forward a little bit, yep, we're going to see rain, and you can actually see. Let me back that up a little bit. You can actually see the border of little thunder here. So I'm starting to get a picture of the day. I know that it's gonna. This is the point of this. Is I know it's gonna be really tall. There's gonna be a lot of convection, a lot of action, probably some cloud suck type behavior. I know that I've got a lot of clouds forecasted to be out and about. I'll take a look at next the cloud parameters. So cumulus depth gives you an idea. I used to be kind of unfamiliar with this particular sounding, and if you right-click SkySight, it'll drop a little breadcrumb for you. But I used to be pretty unfamiliar with cumulus depth, but basically it's the difference between the top of the predicted thermals and the condensation layer. So if it was 0, cloud would just be starting to form. Because this purple here is 2351, this cloud is, there will be towering cumulus clouds in this area. All of these purples. I'd go so far as to even say in these orange we're going to get pretty dense cloud cover in through here. I'm looking over development, and it looks like there's a significant chance of OD, especially to the south where we see it dropping out, and then kind of around slide we might have some more OD action in that area as well. Cape and storms are going to really just highlight where Cape is strongest and where the rain cells most likely are. So again, mostly to the south. Basically what that means is since we have a low Cape value, there isn't as much available energy. However, it still will OD. So threat of thunder cells is lower. Threat of OD fairly high. After that, the surface temperature and the surface dew point I'm not as concerned about. Rain, I think I already have a pretty decent idea. I'm expecting later in the day rain to kind of pop up right in here, which that looks exactly right. It's almost assuredly going to rain in that general area. And that's 4.75 inches predicted right here in this spot over an hour. That's pretty rainy. Next is the wind criteria, and this one we've kind of already looked at with windy. Remember, we got west in the afternoon. So I'm going to set it to surface winds to start, and I want to see when I would maybe be flying at about 10:30, so I'm going to look at the range. I'm still thinking I might be flying slide at this point. Looking like coming up east through all the time that I'd be launching, which is perfect. That's going to keep me out of rotor, keep me relatively safe for slide. But then let's forward on to what it's going to do later. In the afternoon, we're going to have, this looks like a gusty outflow track. See, it's really hauling right in through here, down through the valley and coming north. Remember we had a rain cell dropping out right around the same time in that area. So I'm guessing this is probably a gusty outflow. Other than that, winds are generally west on the surface. Now I like to really use that thermal layer wind average and kind of get an idea. You can see that winds are actually relatively light, mostly out of the south. I'm going to work forwards here. So we kind of start easterly and then we shift around south. This is a very typical looking day for slide. And eventually we kind of end on west. And probably the same for the thermal top. Thermal top winds are going to be kind of your predictor of general direction of travel for the day. And it looks like based on this we are headed north, which, yep, everything looks to be pointing north to me. So with all that in mind, sometimes I'll go through and check convergence. You can expect it to converge. This is going to be convergence for the Sierra crest. So this is kind of like big clouds building up over the top of the Sierra. This is an interesting note right here. I do have my time set at only 11:30, so it's still a little bit early. But as we go forward, you can see the forward range, our range that we fly here really starts to turn on later in the day. Really gets going out over here. So there's definitely some areas of consolidated lift, which is going to be pretty nice. And then lastly, I just like to see the freezing level too to get an idea. We knew that we were going to be maybe climbing to 15.5, and freezing level appears to be 13,500 for the entire forecast area. And so with that in mind, it's going to be very, very cold at the top. So once I have a picture from SkySight, I like to compare models. I'll use windy. Oftentimes I'll click on slide here and then go to wind and take a look at what it looks like tomorrow. Here's Wednesday. Click that 1 hour Monday, give you a little bit of a better idea. Interestingly, HRRR is the only model calling winds this aggressive during this period of time during the day. So I'm guessing that mostly it's going to somewhere be a blend between these two. I like to pay attention to HRRR, Meteo Blue, etc. So wind looks decent. Other than that, that's mostly a day at slide and KB by extrapolation. There's obviously the more that goes into it than that. For example, using the route forecast on SkySight gives you a lot of information there as well. But in general, that's what I'm looking for. Thanks.